Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, another delivery from eBay. Now, this is interesting. It is Sunday. This was due tomorrow. I got a notice that it had been dropped off. Went out and looked, and sure enough, there it was. So no idea why they're delivering this on a Sunday. But then again, I got a delivery on the 4th of July, so not sure what's going on. Anyway, this is a Marx 999 I picked up on eBay. Now, I saw this on the ad. The guy was asking $25 for it, and it was basically a shell and a motor. And I contacted the guy. I mean, it's been on there for weeks. I contacted the guy, made him an offer, and he counter-offered, I counter-offered. Anyway, I wound up buying this for $14. So I'm really curious to see what it actually looks like. Now, he was advertising this as Marx 999 shell with extra guts. Of course, the extra guts was the motor itself. So get this out of the way. There's the shell, missing the rear truck. I knew that. And it's in fair condition. It's missing the limbs, but there's no damage to the shell itself. Needs to be cleaned up, could be repainted. It's not terrible condition. Anyway, I bought it for the motor, of course. And really curious to see A, what it looks like, and B, will it run? Let's take a quick look here. Now, this looked really, really dirty. But for 14 bucks, if nothing else, I need the parts. Alright, get this out of the way. And here is the motor. It is really, really dirty. I mean, this thing is really dirty. It turns. This thing has not been run in decades. Let's pull the camera off the tripod and take a look at this. See what we have here. Alright, so there is the new motor. As you see, it is absolutely filthy. It's been out of the shell for a very, very long time. That nut is loose. It's also on upside down, so someone's tried to take the brush plate off. As you see, single reduction. In decent condition. It's just dirty. Thing's been sitting someplace for decades. And if you look at the contactor, you can see it's completely covered with oxide. It's had some runtime, but not a lot. All right, so as always, the very first thing we're going to do is oil this thing. So we grab some oil. This is straight 30 weight motor oil. And as always, we're going to put a big drop of oil on the brush plate bearing. Let that run directly down into that shaft and lubricate this end of the armature. Alright, go to the other side and put one big drop directly behind that gear. And it goes straight down into that bearing, as you see. Alright, so put this on the second rail. We are ready to test this. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Of course, that contactor is just covered with oxide. Still nothing. Oh, I'm getting a couple sparks here. Whoop. Well, I'm hearing something. Alright. I don't have anything I can lubricate this with right off the bat. I could spray some WD-40 into this. I think I've got to clean up this contactor and see if we can get some power flowing through this thing. It's starting to buzz. Not a very auspicious beginning, I'm afraid. Oops. Really difficult to do this with one hand. Oh, look at that. All right, let's see what that does for us. Still nothing. Yeah, that thing is just absolutely filthy. We're getting power going to the motor. As you see, it's trying to run. Haha, look at this. Look at that. That is dirty brushes. See all that sparking coming from the wheels. Now usually if you get these things moving, it'll scrape the oxide off of the armature and actually take off running. It's trying. As you see. Anyway, no doubt it's going to run. It's just a matter of getting it lubricated and clean, getting that oxide off that contactor. So it's trying. Look at this. Now it is really dry. You can tell that just by the sound it's making. But it is running. That is the important part. So right off the bat, it was worth the 14 bucks. Wow. You hear how dry it is. All right, so in any case, made the guy an offer on this. He had it listed for $25. It was on there for, I don't know, probably 2 weeks. And no one bid on it. So I contacted him. This wasn't a buy it now. I contacted him, pointed out that this thing was in really poor condition. Anyway, I made him an offer. He countered, I countered. Wound up getting it for 14 bucks. It was definitely worth the $14. In parts alone, it's worth more than that. The shell itself is worth 14 bucks. Anyway, a running motor. So a couple of drops of oil on this thing. Get the contactor clean, get the oxide off the armature and the brushes. I have absolutely no doubt this motor is going to run absolutely perfectly. Now this thing has been beat to death. It's been out of its shell and it's been sitting someplace for decades. But it's running. That's the neat thing about it. So a bit of judicious tweaking. I've got a new Marx 999 for 14 bucks. Or, as I said, I bought it for parts. Once it's running, I'm not going to tear it apart. So we'll see where the motor winds up. But I've got a new 999 shell, a new single reduction motor that's up and running. 14 bucks, really, really difficult to beat that. Anyway, I just want to do a quick video on this, the unboxing of a new single reduction motor. Like I said, I had planned on using it for parts, but as usual, 99.9% of the time, these motors will run. And as you see, I've done nothing to this, and it is running. So what I will do is get it cleaned up, get the armature clean, get the brushes clean, get the contactor clean. I'll do a follow-up video on the motor, and eventually we'll drop it back into this shell. Anyway, a new Marx 999, 14 bucks, it's up and running. Not running well, but running. So I'll get this cleaned up, I'll do a follow-up video. As I always stress, don't overlook the junk. You saw for yourself, I took this thing out of the box, it was dead as a hammer. and in less than what, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that, it is actually running. So now it's just a matter of getting it running well, which means getting it cleaned and lubricated. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.